of the Northern New Jersey chapter of the American Guild of Organists. The AGO, American Guild of Organists, is a group of people all over the United States and the world who are interested in the organ, both as a concert instrument and as an instrument to be used in worship services and as a fun instrument to play. And we are joining today with the Garden State Theater Organ Society and the New York Theater Organ Society. Perhaps you've been to Radio City, or perhaps you've been to a theater in which there was organ music before the movie began, and these are the people that do that. So we are combining both elements, both the pipe organ, church organ, concert organ, along with the theater organ style, and our two gentlemen that are presenting today, John Beretta and Drew Kreismer, both do both, and so we are excited about what we're going to see today. We especially welcome the young people today. You're our future. We're all getting old, and we need people to take our places as we get old and want to retire, and we're just delighted to see young boys and girls taking piano lessons and then thinking that in addition to piano, it might be fun to try the organ. And we're going to give you all a chance to do that today.
New York Theater Organ Society went ahead and purchased this organ specifically as a touring organ. And what we've decided to do is to bring the organ to the students. Most kids do not know it exists, or they have an impression of what the organ is, and sometimes that's not correct. So what we wanted to do is bring this kind of programming to young kids, and so far it's been presented in multiple schools over the last 2 years, and it's over 2,500 students have seen this program, and we do know, because we've tracked back, there's about 27 students that actually started studying the organ because of the program, which is great.
This program was one that I had done partially on my own for the school where I work. So I took what I did, and John took what he did, and we put it together and came up with a kind of a new program for the two of us that showed off the theater organ and the classical organ in different ways. It was really fun for us to have the two instruments in the same place together and to hear them in the same room, especially in the church where I work. To hear the theater organ was really kind of fun for me, and it's probably never had before. My name is Drew Kreismer. I'm the organist here at St. John's, and John Beretta is joining me. Very happy to have John here. The organ that I'm playing is the church organ, and that is what's called a classical organ, designed for a church. And it has a little more straight, legitimate sound, as you'll hear throughout the day today. The organ that John was playing is a theater organ in style and sound, and it's considerably different in that it has a lot of additional stops that the church organ does not have. It's also laid out a little bit differently, although there are a lot of similarities in that they both have a pedal board, they both have 3 manuals, they both have a large variety of stops, and they both require trained organists to play them. And the classical organ that you're hearing is mostly pipe. There are some digital stops in this organ, but it's about 2/3 pipe and 1/3 digital, and this organ is about 10 years old. And John, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
The theater organ was based in the movie theaters. Way back in the 20s, the camera was invented, but the amplifier was not, so thus was silent films. The theater organist was responsible to supply the music for the film. On top of that, was also responsible for all the sound effects on the film. Most of the movies did not have a score. About 95% of them did not have a musical score written. So the organist that was at the theater had to be pretty versatile, because you never know what kind of music you needed to play. Sometimes it might be classical, sometimes it might be jazz, sometimes it might be a ballet. Sometimes it might be an operatic type of theme. Chase music, music for someone feeling ill, whatever. Trains coming, sounds for that, the whole routine. So that's why this organ has different sounds than this one does. Their purposes were for different venues, for different places, okay? On the bottom, that's really another keyboard, only it's called a pedal board because we play with our feet. Now, on the keyboards or the manuals, we have 10 contact points to accomplish our task. On the pedal board, we only have 4 contact points, 2 toes, 2 heels. We have sopranos, altos, tenors, and basses. It starts off with the tenor section playing the melody, then the alto section comes in, and then the soprano highest voice comes in, and when the lowest voice comes in, the bass part, you play the same thing with your feet. Originally, it was called Fugue in G.
Some people like to know what the organ music looks like. And it does look like piano music, but it's got an extra staff at the bottom. What do you think that extra staff would be for? Why would there be an extra staff at the bottom? What do you think?
Pedal.
Right, there's a staff just for the pedal board. So an organist is reading at least 3 lines of music at a time. Right hand, left hand, feet. And if he's accompanying the choir, he's reading 2 staffs for the choir. Whereas this instrumentalist, there'll be a whole line or 2 or 3 or 4 for the instrumentalist. So we're reading maybe 5, 6, 7 lines at a time, depending on the music, which takes a bit of practice to do. But it's lots of fun to do. Sometimes the organist needs help, not just emotionally. And what they do is they ask someone to come up and stand with them, either to turn pages or to push on a stop. And I could use about 8 assistants right now for this piece. I'm going to play it. Are there 8 people who would like to come? I need 8 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. 8. I'll just give you a number. Come up here.